Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a health topic that, well, it often sparks debate. Salt intake.
Right. It's one of those things everyone has an opinion on.
Exactly. And specifically, we're diving into an article Professor Lin looked at, responding to a listener's, frankly, surprising question. Can a low-salt diet actually cause high blood pressure?
Yeah, that definitely goes against the grain of standard advice.
It really does. So our mission today is to unpack this counterintuitive claim, scrutinize the evidence behind it, and really help you navigate the often conflicting info you find, especially in the biomedical world.
And it's a great example of why critical thinking is so important, looking beyond the headline.
Absolutely. It's all about telling the difference between, convincing talk and actual solid science. Okay, so our listener, Jimmy Huang, he shared an article from a source called Youyikao, and this piece makes some pretty bold claims.
Bold is one word for it,
Yeah, suggesting low-salt diets don't just fail to help, but can actually cause high blood pressure.
which is quite the statement.
It is, and it even cites a Professor Liu Chung and supposedly some dangerous findings from big medical journals like The Lancet and JAMA to back all this up.
And this is where Professor Lin's approach becomes really fascinating because, the first step wasn't even debating the physiology, it was checking the origins.
Right,
Meticulously.
right.
It raises that crucial question. When you see claims like this, even with names and journals attached, how reliable are the sources themselves?
So where did Professor Lin start with the professor?
Exactly. Let's start with Professor Liu Yingchun. Professor Lin did some digging, and this individual's professorship, well, it comes from Bircham International University.
Okay, Bircham International, never heard of it.
Well, it's a distance learning institution,
Yeah.
and crucially, it's not recognized by major educational bodies, not in Spain where it's based, not the EU, the US, or Taiwan.
So not really a standard academic credential then?
Not at all. It's described basically as a commodity, something
Yeah.
used to create an illusion of success. This person has no actual medical research, no publications in the field.
Wait, an illusion of success? So what are they known for?
Apparently things like UFO research and spiritual wellness.
Yeah.
Not exactly cardiovascular medicine.
UFOs, okay.
Kappa.
That's quite a red flag right there when discussing blood pressure.
A massive one.
Yeah.
It really underscores why you have to check credentials. Don't just take professor at face value.
Good point. Okay, so what about the journals? The Lancet, JMAT, those are big names.
They are, and Professor Lin specifically searched their archives. That alleged 2017 Lancet study. The one supposedly showing low-salt diets are dangerous.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it. It just wasn't there.
So it wasn't just misinterpreted, it was made up.
It appears so. And what's more, Professor Lin found recent papers, 2024 Lancet papers, that actually strongly support the World Health Organization's low-sodium policy.
Wow. So the real research says the exact opposite.
Precisely. Concluding that implementing low-sodium policies could save literally millions of lives globally.
Okay, and what about the JAMA claim?
Similar story. The specific study mentioned in the Youyikao article couldn't be verified. Instead, Professor Lin points to two recent verifiable JMAS studies.
And what did they find?
They reinforced the benefits of salt reduction. One showed reducing just 1 gram of sodium per day lowers systolic blood pressure, that's the top number, by about 1.3 millimil Hg on average.
Okay, that sounds significant.
It is, especially population-wide. And the other study looked at salt substitution using potassium salt instead of regular sodium salt.
And the results?
Really striking. It significantly reduced recurrent stroke by 14%, hemorrhagic stroke that's bleeding in the brain by 30%, and overall mortality by 12%.
12% reduction in overall mortality. That's huge.
It really is. And this lines up perfectly with the bigger picture. You look at the World Health Organization's 2023 report, Taiwan's Ministry of Health and Welfare, they both advocate for daily salt intake under 6 grams.
Which is what the original article called below daily body needs.
Exactly. And the WHO estimates that hitting these sodium reduction targets could save around 7 million lives globally by 2030. So the actual scientific consensus, based on robust evidence from reputable sources, is overwhelmingly clear.
Okay, so let's bring this back to the listener. What does this all really mean for you when you're scrolling online or reading health advice?
Well, the key insight here isn't just about salt itself, though that's important. It's about how easily claims that sound convincing can be, well, manufactured.
Right, using fake credentials, citing studies that don't even exist.
Exactly. So when you encounter health information, especially online, you absolutely have to look beyond the bold headlines. You've got to question the sources.
As we've clearly seen here, the actual consensus from global health authorities, from rigorous peer-reviewed medical research, it overwhelmingly supports reducing salt for better blood pressure and heart health.
No question about it.
So the big takeaway isn't just about salt, it's really about critical thinking. Who is presenting this information? What are their real credentials?
Are there claims backed by actual peer-reviewed research from places we trust? Or is
Yeah.
it just an assertion?
Yeah. Is it legitimate science, or is it something built, like you said, on an illusion of success? That reliability factor is key. So next time you read some surprising, maybe even contrarian health claim, just pause and ask, what's really underneath this? Is it solid ground or just smoke and mirrors? That's your thought to mull over until our next deep dive.